Hi, everyone. Okay, I want to talk today a little bit about measuring and acting upon cultural health. How do you measure it? How do you actually create positive action out of figuring out how you're doing? What do you do about it? All those good things. So let's talk about it for a little bit. And the thing that is inspired this particular conversation is that my team and I just went through and had the positive energy workplace diagnostic done on ourselves. So normally at Active Choices, we do positive energy workplace diagnostics on our client companies and client teams to see how are they doing. The diagnostic is, just to give you a little bit of background, the diagnostic is 55 questions. It's really measuring how the individual feels about how they're doing, how they feel their team is doing, how they feel the organization is doing, and how they feel about different structures in the company that are either contributing to or detracting from cultural health. So we do this with our clients. It's part of our programming. We'll check at the very, very beginning where are they at. Those 55 questions basically drill down to 7 core things that we're looking at in terms of where are they at on being a positive energy workplace, like really where are they at. They're anonymous. We have a data scientist that actually does all of it for us and then gives us back the information so we can then put it together and then go through it with the client. So we don't even know what everybody answers. But anyway, so the point being is that we decided to do it for ourselves because we wanted to see where are we personally at, what do we want to be working on, and we also wanted to have the experience of complete empathy around what our clients go through when they're doing it. Because what they'll do is they get this information back and then they go through programming and whatever that programming might be, and then we'll take it again 6 or 7 months later, maybe a little bit longer depending on the scope, and then they'll find out how much did they grow, what shifted. And so far, every time we've done it, there's been some really beautiful, beautiful shifts. So all to say, we did it for ourselves. We just got off of our team meeting. And gosh, I'll tell you, as the CEO of a company, it sure gave me a lot of empathy for what our clients go through, what the leaders, the stakeholders in our client companies go through when they're waiting to hear back that data, that feeling, that very vulnerable feeling of, oh my God, I hope my team is happy. I hope we're doing well. I think we're doing well here. Gosh, I think we could grow a little bit here. So that was just a really interesting experience personally for me to have that level of empathy with our client leaders. The other thing that was really cool was noticing how, as I personally took it myself, how much I was able to start to shift my mindset around going, oh gosh, I hope we're doing okay, to, oh my gosh, I'm really excited to find out how we're doing, because every single question on here is a indicator, if there is a lower score, of some stuff we can start to do to make ourselves even better. So I just want to talk about, I just want to presence that. That was kind of the beginning experience for me personally of taking it. Our team had similar experiences in going through and how should they rate themselves? How should they rate the team? So it was just a cool empathy experience. But all to say, we just got our results back. Our data scientists went through it with us, and I'm very happy with the scores, and I'm very happy with how the team scored. The organization, our levels of psychological safety and trust. I'm very happy about the areas actually that we scored a little bit lower on, because it was a really, really beautiful place to look at, okay, how do we start to put systems in place to make these things higher? How are we going to actually do that? And I also noticed that the team actually scored, we all scored ourselves a little bit lower personally on some of the things, because we all are so aware of how much room there is for growth whenever we're doing something in leadership. And so we tended to score ourselves lower on the first section, which is about self-awareness, versus scoring the company and the team higher. And often when we first started doing this work with companies, it's the exact opposite. Often when we do this work with companies, the leaders, the workforce will score themselves as really high at how they're showing up and how they're contributing, but they'll score the company and their team lower. So that was a really cool thing to do. But this is what I want to share with you, besides the process of how we're doing that. Because if this is interesting to you and you would like to have us do the diagnostic for your organization, please reach out. We really love doing it. It's fun to help companies get an anchor of where are you at, and then to actually do a debrief where we can go, okay, here's what you want to work on. Here's where you're really, really crushing it. And here's what you want to share back to your organization. So if you're interested in that, then please, by all means, reach out to me. Happy to talk about it. But the second piece I want to share with you about this is how important it is when you do a diagnostic to share back the results with your organization and to get together with your team. If it's just your team. So for us, we have a small and mighty team. But to get together with your team or with your organization to share back, here's what I heard. So as the CEO, as a leadership team, you're sharing back. Here's what I heard. Here's where I see we're doing really, really well. I really want to acknowledge that. Here's where I see we have some really good room to grow. Here are the things that I personally see I can do to start contributing to making this score come higher in the future. And then asking the question, what else do you all see? So engaging your workforce in letting them know that you heard them, letting them know what you learned, letting them know that you care about what they see they could actually be doing differently to bring those scores up. And then also opening the door for them to give you really clear feedback about, hey, if there's anything you didn't say in this diagnostic or anything that we missed, feel free to come to me as the CEO of the organization or as the leader of the team or whatever. Feel free to come to me and talk to me about it, because I really want to make sure that we have a full picture of how we're doing. So the way we personally did it was I had gone, I got the results. I had a feeling of where we were low on some things. So I'd already put some thought into it, because one of the things I noticed is where I scored myself and the organization lower. As I was doing that, I was automatically going to, okay, what would make this be a 10? If I'm giving this a 7 or an 8 right now, what would make it be a 10? And so by the time I got into the debrief, we were able to have and I asked the team to do that the same way, by the way. We were able to have a really productive conversation around, okay, if we scored collectively as like an 8 here or a 7, what would we need to put in place to bring this score up? So when we take this again in 6 months from now, we're like, wow, this is actually now a 9 or whatever it would be. And so we had a really interesting dialogue around that. And I asked the team to commit to at least 3 things. One thing that they were going to do individually to really level up the score in the first section, but then also as a team to commit to 2 or 3 things that we were going to do as a team and really hold ourselves accountable to in order to bring those scores up. So what's really exciting is we now have this action plan. We have 3 agreements as a team to address our positive energy workplace diagnostic results. My expectation is that we're all going to lean in and continue to talk about these things and kind of check in as we go. And then we'll take this again in 6 months from now and see how we're doing. But I want to offer this because I think sometimes when organizations do diagnostics or they do a poll survey, there can be a lot of anxiety around it. And I really understand that. But there's some things that if you can reframe it and really look at it from the standpoint of, okay, now I know how we're doing. Now I know what we need to do. And I've made it a collaborative conversation so the team knows I care. Now you have an even better culture. So even though your score might not have come up yet, just the act of thanking people for taking it, letting them know how you did, letting them know where you see you can improve, keeping the door open for feedback, asking them to contribute, just having the conversation creates more trust and psychological safety in the conversation. So even if you scored incredibly low, because we will do this sometimes with teams and the scores are really, really low. I'm not upset about the scores being really, really low. What I would be more upset about is if the team doesn't learn from the scores. So no matter where you score in that diagnostic, we want to look at, did you learn from it? Did you talk about it? Did you own it? Did you own your part in it? Did you get into communication about how you're going to shift it for the future? So I'm really excited. I feel really happy. This is a tool that we created. Oh my goodness. I think over a year ago, we've been refining it and refining it. We literally brought a data scientist and a researcher onto the team to own it and to make sure that we were asking the questions in the right way and that the data was being compiled correctly. We've got the pre, we've got the post, we've got like all the really interesting nuanced stuff that goes with it. And what I'm personally really excited about is how much of a map it creates for an organization to be able to go, oh, we scored low here, we scored low here, we scored low here. Here are the 3 things we're going to do to start to bring this up. And oh, we scored high here, we scored high here, we scored high here. Here are the things we're going to do to continue to celebrate and make sure that we continue to keep the scores and our cultural health at that level there. So, all right, food for thought for you today. Whatever you're using, engagement surveys, pulse surveys, if you're doing the PUE diagnostic, the positive energy workplace diagnostic, whatever you're using, just an invitation to kind of reframe the way you're thinking about it and to make sure that you're getting into action about it, because it's all just really good information. Again, if you would like us to do one for your organization, if you'd like to get into some programming so we can really get in there and start to do a deep dive in helping you build cultural health, helping you build, more accountability in the company, more well-being, all those different things, then please just reach out to us. Also, as always, we run these executive forums, and I think after this one, I'm thinking we might do a special forum on measuring cultural health and acting upon it. So we may do that. So if that's of interest to you, just go ahead, sign up on the executive forum banner that I've just put here. And then also in the comments box, put the topic you're interested in. We'll make sure that we get you an invitation when we decide to do the next one. Okay, take care of yourself. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And thank you as always for being here. Bye-bye.